How does our philanthropic donation work? Philanthropy stems from the phrase love of humanity, and it's commonly seen as giving to a cause that impacts those that you don't know. Last year, Girl Scouts Nation's Capital donated over $47,000 to horse rescues within our council. With the funds from your donations, these rescues were able to continue renovations on their stables and enrich the lives of their herds. Many of these horses were rescued from neglect or are seniors. The Equine Rescue League even has a horse that's 33 years old, which is 3 years older than the average life expectancy. Here are a few of the rescued horses that your donations helped. This year's philanthropic donations will be going to help the Port Macquarie Koala Hospital. At the hospital, they perform emergency rescues, koala rehabilitation, and releases of rehabbed koalas. Let's meet Paul, one of the first koalas rescued after the recent bushfires.
Now I'm here with the clinical director from the Koala Hospital, Shane Flanagan. Shane, how is Paul doing now?
Paul's doing really well, considering what he was like when he first came in.
What was that like to be greeted by that little face?
Well, his face was black when he first came in. As you can see, he's lost most of his ears. He was just a little black burnt ball.
And he was quite significant at the time because he was the very first koala that was brought in the very start of the fires.
Highly likely that he was the very first koala to be burnt in the fires in Australia.
Wow.
That's how long ago it was.
And he became, I guess, a symbol of what was to come.
The footage of him that when he was found on the fireground went viral, went all over the world, and he was a symbol of what was in front of us.
Oh, buddy. Hang on, mate. Just hang on.
Obviously, everyone's so saddened when they hear that koalas have been lost in bushfires. Why is this particular population so important?
Well, he comes from a population of koalas that are so genetically diverse. They are of national significance. This means that these are animals that are really good for breeding and adapting to change. And we've basically wiped out most of them.
How many do you think you lost?
Probably 600 in this population alone. And you add to that potentially, 7,000 or 8,000 across New South Wales, which includes drought as well.
We chose to donate to this hospital after seeing the amazing work they did for koalas like Paul following the recent bushfires across Australia. The 2019 and 2020 bushfire season was historic, and it left thousands of animals at risk. It takes a lot of money to keep a koala hospital like this running. Some of the funds from your donations will go towards the upkeep and maintenance of the koala ambulances. These vehicles are fully equipped to care for a koala during an emergency. More than 61,000 koalas were likely in the path of the Australian bushfires of late 2019 and early 2020. Koalas are expected to be extinct by 2050 unless there's urgent intervention to prevent their habitat loss. A koala's diet consists mainly of eucalyptus leaves. However, sometimes they'll branch out to eating leaves from paper bark and bloodwood trees. Due to the recent bushfires in Australia, eucalyptus leaves have been scarce. When a fire sweeps through an area with an abundance of eucalyptus trees, the wooden pods holding their seeds explode and spread across the ashy ground. Despite this allowing for new growth, the trees are still left barren, leaving food scarce for the local koalas. These are some current residents of the Koala Hospital. Each one was brought in for rehabilitation. Baz came in with burns from a bushfire, Jade came in after an emergency rescue call, and CW came in with an eye injury. You might be wondering why this koala has mittens and socks on. The pink bandages that cover the soft skin on their hands and feet allow for it to heal after it's been burnt by the bushfire. For every scout who sells 225 packages of cookies, a donation is made towards the Koala Hospital. If you'd like to learn more about the Koala Hospital and their work, check them out on Instagram or at their website listed below.